welcome back to Stereo-Atypical, the podcast. I am your host, Alyssa, and this is my co-host,
So,
and we were gone a long time. Sorry. A week long time. There's some life things that happened, which I'll tell you about in a minute. But today we are going to be talking about our craziest audition stories and really impactful class memories. And this was suggested for us in our little Q&A at the end of the video. So if you guys want to be a part of the Stereo-Atypical podcast, all you got to do is first listen to the podcast and then make it to the end and type in your little question and you can be a part. This one is actually from one of our friends, Roger. So thanks, Roger. Love you. So first off, we're gonna go about our week and a half of absence here, because this is gonna be coming out like on Wednesday or Thursday, so week and a half at that point. Guess I'll start. So the reason we didn't film last week is because I had a very scary health scare. I didn't have to say scary twice, but it was scary. So it can be said twice. My boyfriend and I were watching his favorite play, Stereophonic, and about halfway through Act 2, I was getting some really bad tachycardia. And if you're not sure what tachycardia is, it's when your heart rate rises, and it keeps rising, and it goes really, really fast. So I was at about 123. But I didn't know at the time. I just knew it was something really fast, and I was getting nauseous, and I was really stressed, and I had used the bathroom at intermission. So I didn't need to pee. So it was really, and I felt fine at intermission, so it was really weird. And my boyfriend saw, and he was like, what's going on? Because, I'm a great theater goer. I try to be, I'm quiet, and I sit there, and I enjoy. So it's weird when I'm not doing that. So he puts his hand on my leg, and the minute he put his hand on my leg, I was like, nope, gotta go. And I ran downstairs, and, I ran over a lady. I, tripped over a lady getting out of the aisle. This theater is not meant to leave during intermission, by the way. Some theaters are good. This one, no. There was no, I, tripped over 5 people. I didn't even apologize. Man, I thought I was going to vomit. I wasn't apologizing. So I'm running down the aisle and then down the stairs, right? And there's little pitter-patter behind me. My lovely boyfriend immediately knew something was wrong. He was like, oh my God. And he darted after me. Did you see that thumbs up?
I did.
Oh, I didn't know we were iPhones now. Do it again. Okay, I'm sorry, distraction. For audio viewers, a thumb showed up on the screen. I don't know what happened, in the iPhone. That's so weird. Anyway, so I'm running down the stairs and my legs are getting really weak. And I'm basically tripping down the stairs, okay? Now my boyfriend is running faster down the stairs as he sees I'm tripping. So I still think I'm gonna throw up because I'm very nauseous. So I'm about to head into the women's bathroom. My muscles in my body give out completely and I just fell. And thank God my boyfriend was there because he caught me so I didn't hit my head. So he's going, oh my God, are you okay? Hey, are you okay? Hey, wake up, are you okay? Are you okay? Apparently he tapped my cheek like this to try and wake me up because I guess I passed out but my eyes were open. So I'm there and my arms are sprawled and my knees are up and one of my knees falls to the right, or I guess my right, someone else's left, but my right. And I just keep hearing him go, are you okay? Are you okay? Well, when you're having a pass out moment, what they don't tell you is your brain is fully cognitive. You are very much aware of what is going on. So he's asking if I'm okay. And I was kind of feisty in my head. I'm not going to lie to y'all. I was like, no, clearly I'm not okay. I'm on the floor. But I didn't say anything because I was just kind of I'm literally on the floor by a bathroom. But in that moment you think you're not responding because you're well, this is stupid, why are you asking? But you really you can't respond because your muscles aren't working and nothing is working. So I wasn't being mean or feisty for real, but in my head I was. Because I was just like, why do they keep asking if I'm okay? I was like, I don't understand. And so then the house manager came over and they were like, are you okay? Are you okay? Do we need to call medical? Well, that's when I came to fully, and I went, no. Just like that, I said, no. And they were like, oh, okay. And then they were like, okay, can we get them off the floor? And I said, I got it. And I stood up myself. And then we walked to this seat and we checked my heart rate. It was like 123. And so then we went back to the house. We got a little card so we can go watch it again from the house manager. And then we went back to the house, and the next day I went to urgent care, and he came with me, and we did EKG, blood work, sitting, standing, laying down, tests for my heart rate, and everything was normal. So I was fine. My mom and I were talking about it, and we think it was the cold medicine that I took before, because I'm going on a trip, not next week, but the week after. And I was like, I don't want to be sick for this trip, and I was feeling a little sick, so I took a bunch of cold medicine. But she thinks that they changed whatever they put in it, because I've taken it before and been fine, because it can cause tachycardia and you to pass out. Like this kind of medicine from the drugstore, it can cause that. And so she looked at it and was like, it was probably that, because I don't think it was your blood sugar either, because your blood sugar was probably fine. Like, you never had problems, and you ate breakfast and lunch before the show. You were just going to eat dinner after the show, so that don't really... You ate. So I was like, yeah, I ate through the day. And I drank water. I wasn't dehydrated. Like, this is going to be TMI, but my pee was running clear, guys. I was clear. Maybe a little yellow, but that's okay. Like, a little bit yellow to clear is where you want to be in your pee, just so you guys know. So I was fine there, and I know because I peed twice before the show started. So it's like, it's okay in the dehydration area too. Like, it wasn't that. So we think it was the cold medicine. But then when it came time to record, it took a while for my heart rate to regulate itself. So I was still feeling a little sicky and under the weather. So I told Michelle, I said, hey, I need like a break for this week, and we're going to get back into it this next week. But I need to like make sure that I'm not going to experience anything else like that again. And so that is my fun story.
I'm glad you're okay now.
Same. It was terrifying.
You're telling me.
I told Michelle, and she was like, go to the doctor.
Mm-hmm.
And I told my father the day I was going to the doctor, and this is really funny, because my dad loves me very much. So what I'm about to say for you audio listeners and visual watchers is nothing, but my dad is a funny, sarcastic man. So he was like, why didn't you go to the hospital the night before? And I said, because I didn't want my pain arm and a leg and a butt for an ambulance. I said, I can urgent care if in the morning, if it doesn't happen again. If it happens again, I'll go to I'll walk to the hospital. I ain't taking a car. Okay, if it happens again, we'll go. But I was like, if it only happened once, urgent care in the morning, the next day, right? And my dad was like, okay, fine, you know what? I don't care about you then. Because he was so stressed out. He was like, okay, fine, whatever. And I was like, Dad, I'm going to take care of it. I'm okay. He goes, I know, I'm just stressed out. And I was like, I know, it's okay. So, but I'm good. What is happening?
That was fireworks.
No, that's fine.
We're just so happy that you're good now. Yay!
It's like, how does this work?
I feel like it's like almost like.
I'm like, what is happening?
Full on dance.
So anyway, how have you been?
I've been good. I've had a lot going on myself, but not quite that to that degree. Just stressed. Got a lot going on. But we're good. Um, yeah, I have some exciting things going on, but just like random anxiety over nothing really. I don't know. Yeah, I liked.
I feel ya. Did you wake up with anxiety this morning like I did? Oh my god, twins!
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and there's one more thing I'd like to bring up with our podcast listeners, as they know we're Christians. The solar eclipse. What you guys didn't see is Michelle rolled her eyes. This is the stupidest thing. I almost had to get off of TikTok and Instagram and every single social media because there were these Christians, and I'm air quoting for the audio listeners, that got into this solar eclipse thing too deep, and they were like, "It is the rapture. It is happening." And I was like, "No, it's not." But okay.
Yeah, I actually full on deleted TikTok because, well, one, there's all that going on, but two, I just found myself scrolling all the time again and had to delete it. But the rapture thing, I don't know, I used to buy into it when I was younger, but then as I got older, I noticed that every single semi big event that we have all of a sudden is the rapture to people. And I'm just like, that's not the case because one, we won't know the time, but two, it's like things have got to get a lot worse. One, well, I need to stop counting because I'm out of order now. Things have got to get a lot worse, but also I feel like it just promotes a spirit of fear, and I don't like that. I feel like
Fear
as
mongering.
Christians, like we need to have faith that God is going to handle everything and everything will work out as it's supposed to. Yes, obviously we want people to be saved if possible. But the thing is that, and this is kind of controversial, I know, but it's not our job to save people. Like that is the Holy Spirit's job. That is not our job. That is too much for us. So going around and trying to like force it down people's throats is just it kind of counters what you actually want to do. You know what I mean? And so it bothers me. And I will say there was something cool with this last eclipse, though obviously eclipses are cool in general. I love science.
Oh yeah,
But
period.
they were saying like they uh drew out the last like the toss of the last three eclipses and it drew out the Hebrew symbol for I think it's Aleph Tav or whatever, which is Alpha and Omega. And I think that's so cool because uh also I think it's the Euphrates River and I forget which other one, they're drying up into the Alpha and Omega symbol as well, but in a different language. And it's so cool. Like,
It
I
is
think
cool.
that's so cool. But as far as the rapture and all of that, clearly we are not raptured.
I didn't get to go up with my walker, girl. I was ready.
I know, right?
No, and that's like that's another thing. Like when I was deep in rapture TikTok and my eyes were melting off my face, um, they the Bible. Okay, just open it and read it because what it says. And I'm not quoting word for word. Okay, but this. It was a thumbs up again, audio listeners. Another one. But okay, I'm not quoting word for word here. But in the Bible, it says, "You, Jesus, nor the angels will know the date, time,
Lose.
hour, location of when Jesus is returning. Jesus doesn't know when Jesus is returning.
Yep.
So why in the world does this random lady named Josephina on TikTok all of a sudden know it's on April 8th, 2024?
Yeah. It's frustrating, and it does just promote so much fear in people, and it's just wrong, quite frankly.
Yeah.
But you know what? That is part of how things are supposed to go. There's lots of false prophets.
Yep. Also, they forgot that we're supposed to have the whole Antichrist before it even happens, so he ain't here yet. Or she, or they. Whatever. Whoever it is, that person is not existent yet. So.
Or they at least haven't shown themselves, so it's
Or they haven't shown themselves, yeah, because I don't know about them yet.
But also, like, I do understand where people come from with that, because in Revelations, no one's really sure what the order is of things, so it could come afterwards. But honestly, Revelations is so hard to understand in general, and it specifically says not to read into it because it's all metaphoric. So, like, trying to read into it and take things so literally, it's just not,
and the
going
part
to
that really made me laugh
Mm-hmm.
was on Reddit.
Well, at least
Tell me why Christians who thought the rapture was going to happen were buying toilet paper and food and stuff. Like, what, y'all thought you were going to be left behind here?
Clearly, that's the natural human response to any kind of catastrophe that our world can possibly go through.
Paper,
COVID,
the rapture,
paper. COVID, toilet paper, give the toilet paper. Any kind of, like, rapture and toilet paper. 1 and 1 makes 2, Alyssa.
It does. And you know what? Even though it clearly says you will not need any earthly belongings, girl, take your toilet paper.
Yeah, I mean, you're going to take your walker. Some of these people are going to take a big package of toilet paper.
It did all of that. And it made me laugh. I laughed because I was like, you know, I'm not laughing at the person. I'm not trying to be mean. But I was also like, you're really far from reading Revelation, or even like you just haven't heard the right things about it, even if you've never read it. Because it's clear as day, like you're not going to need anything when you go to heaven. Did you forget? Like, you were fear-mongered so bad you forgot, and you were like, gotta buy your toilet paper, gotta get it.
Yeah.
Oh, man. It's funny. But, anyway, nice to be on the earth still. Gives me a chance to get married still and go on my vacation. By the way, to all of our listeners, I will be gone the week of the 20th. So there will be no episode that week unless Michelle and I are able to record an extra one next week. But we will let you know if we're able to, and I'll post that on the Instagram and let you guys know. And if there is one, I will edit it and everything next week and just have it like scheduled to release when I'm gone.
Yeah. Also, I just wanted to say I am so sorry to our viewers and to you, quite frankly, because I fell off the wagon with posting on YouTube. I'll catch up soon.
That's okay. They have the Spotify in the Apple.
Yeah.
The Spotify has the video.
Been doing her job. I've been slacking.
I didn't post one last week, but we didn't have a backup episode for last week. We had a backup episode for the week before, but then this week we didn't. But the week before we were both getting sick, and then last week I was trying to die. So, you know, it's just been busy 2 weeks. We're back. Regularly scheduled programming returns.
Yeah. Everything's
and now, now on to that programming. as we had my rapture talk, which is just something I really wanted to bring up because people don't be scared of it.
Hey, also, I already messaged you about this, but since our viewers know that I've been studying French, I am officially almost a B1 already level proficiency. So
Yes.
I am 2.5 levels away from fluency.
It's exciting.
Yeah.
I'm very far away from being fluent in Spanish. I also have a hiatus with that. I get back into it. It takes some. I get back there. It's okay.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway.
Yeah.
Crazy audition stories and really impactful class memories. That's what we're talking about today. I know I have one for the audition stories.
Okay, do you want to start?
Sure. Hi, my name is Alyssa Catherine, and I auditioned for the non-union tour of Hairspray before COVID. And let me tell you, oof. This was a day. So, when you are non-union in the musical theater world, the world likes to hand your butt to you on a bronze platter. Not silver, not gold, bronze. And you're like, what do you mean by that? When you're non-union, you don't get an equity card. Okay? So for equity auditions that possibly might see non-union, what you have to do is go there very early and put your name on a piece of notebook paper. You heard me right, it's legit notebook paper, and it's taped to the door. And now the issue with this is people aren't ethical, and they will start a whole new list. So then you have to constantly watch the list and make so it's a pain in the booty. Well, this wasn't that kind of case because this was the non-union tour. So that means anyone could go and audition for it except equity members, because once you're equity, you can only do equity shows. That's why it's kind of better to be non-ec for a little bit, because you can do both. Well, here's the dealio. Since it was a non-union for Hairspray, everyone and their mother and fifth cousin was there. Because everyone wanted to do it. So I stayed with my friend at the time named Sam. Hey, Sam. And we were at her house. And we got up at 2 a.m. Got there by 4:30, 5 o'clock. And we were not first in line. And you would think, dang, Alyssa, you got there real early. Yeah. But you'd be surprised, people were there probably midnight. Because this line, in the freezing cold, I was wearing a big coat, I was a coat with a furry hood, like that kind of coat. Coat. Okay, we were bundled. It was cold. It was like 30. Okay, we were bundled up because this was like in the beginning of the year. We were probably the 40th to the 50th person in line at 4 a.m. Now, you're probably like, oh, well, that's no big deal for you there 3 hours early, right? This is probably what you're thinking. No, these things don't open until like 10. They never start at 7 a.m. You're like, you think you could get in there at 7? No, 9 to 10 is when they open. So you're there. Do you need to pee? I hope not. Yeah, I didn't drink water. I didn't drink water till we got in there. Then I hydrated because I was not losing my place in line. Okay? We were 40 or 50 in line. I'm not going to lose my spot because then you have to get back into line. People are like, you're cutting. I'm not cutting the line. I just had to pee. Well, regardless, it's New York City. Where are you going to pee? We were at Pearl Studios, by the way, in case anyone knows where that is, which is one of the most famous places to be. So by the time we get in there, because we made it. They had to do audition time slots in groups because there were so many of us. So they had put off to the side a little room where you could go when it was your group, so you'd get away from the big group. But they only put us in one room with Pearl Studios. Now, Pearl Studios is huge, but they put 200 people in one room. It was crazy. We had to spiral in the room. So we're going like this. Sorry for audio listeners, you know what a spiral looks like. But we're like this. We're packed in, barely like moving, like we're shoulder to shoulder in this spiral. People are in the middle, and like we are crammed in there. And people are getting ready, they're doing their makeup, people are warming up, people are doing all this. So this room is loud. I mean, you cannot hear yourself think. If you wanted to think, good luck. There was no talking about your own audition. So we wait for like 30 minutes to an hour before anyone says anything, and one of the monitors comes in and she goes, okay, so what we're going to do, we're going to start filing this spiral out, and you're going to come up and hand us your headshots and your resume. Now you have to have your headshot and your resume stapled together, back to back. It can't be a printed, it has to be stapled. It's a very dumb, I don't understand rule. Maybe it's not dumb, but I don't understand. That is why. So we stapled ours together, and it's size dimensional. It's like an 8x10, I believe, right? Yeah. So it's, so we go through the little spiral, and we get up to the front, we give them the name, and then we go back into the spiral, and we sit back down at our stuff. And then we wait some more. We're waiting some more. So as we're waiting, they finally released this list. They're like, okay, now that we know everyone that's here, we're going to have these people go first, these people go second. And they did it by like last name almost at first, and then it changed, and then it was by who you were in line. So like my friends and I like ended up going at like the same time, which was cool. So they finally called us, so we're like, we get out of this room and we go and into our own little waiting room, and then we wait in there for like 30 minutes or so, and then we're called downstairs. So we go downstairs and we go into a tinier room and wait some more. And then eventually they're calling people in, and then when they're calling you in, you're not going into the room right away. You're standing in a line out in the hallway. So there were 3 people before I went in. I could have waited in a little tiny room, but no, I had to wait in this line in the hallway. So then I'm waiting in this line in the hallway, and then I get in there, and our songs, because they give you a certain amount of like time. They'll give you a cut. So instead of doing like 60 measures or 30 measures or 20, we were down to like a 6-bar cut because there were so many people there. And let me tell y'all, singing the 6 bars, like there's, what's she gonna sing? Like, how are you gonna show yourself in that amount of time? It ended up being such like a shortcut. I don't know if it was like 6 or 12, but it was a super shortcut. So I give it to the pianist, and I look at him and I set my tempo. I sang a Dusty Springfield song, and then it was over. And I walked out of the room, and they sent everyone away. And some people in the room, like Sam got to go, and everyone got to go that I was with, but I remember some people in the audition room didn't get to audition because we ran out of time because it was so chaotic. It was so crazy that afterwards on Facebook, they put one of those flags up, and it said marked safe from the non-union hairspray auditions.
Wow. That's crazy.
And then COVID happened, and then the non-union tour was canceled. So, who knew if I got it? I didn't. No one did, so.
I'll at work. What did they get you?
COVID.
Yeah.
Because COVID happened shortly after, too, guys. Like, it was the same year COVID happened. So.
Yeah.
Anyway, that was super fun.
Yeah.
Doesn't that sound like a lot?
I mean, it does sound like an experience, you know? could be
That's
fun,
fun.
but at the same time chaotic.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of waiting.
Yeah. But that's the case with most auditions, though, I feel like.
Oh
I'm,
yeah, but with equity auditions, you get your number. You know, because you have your equity card, you give it to the equity monitor, and they give you your number, and then you're definitely going to get seen. With non-union members, it's not definite that we get seen, no matter where we go.
yeah, it's fair. Yeah, I don't have a whole lot of audition stories because, quite frankly, as much as I kind of wanted to after school, I had a lot of stuff going on, so I went back home and I never went on an actual uh, professional audition beyond school. Um, but I can tell the story of how I got the scholarship, which was the audition through AMTC, which is Actors, Models, and Talent for Christ, which I absolutely loved that. That was a lot of fun going through them. They basically just train, once you get in, they train you to be able to compete at a competition later on. And there's the opportunity to sign with agents, managers, or win scholarships and opportunities. And I, before I auditioned for that, I had never auditioned for anything acting related at all. And I had done like choir in school and I did like the talent show in high school, that kind of stuff. But I very much was in my shell. And I was very like in a low moment of my life. So I was very much depressed. And I did not think that I had what it took to pursue acting and music. I thought that I didn't fit the mold. So when it came to those are the only things that I wanted to do with my life. And I just didn't think I could do it. So I I did pray this prayer and I basically did what you're not supposed to do, which is I basically gave God an ultimatum.
Oh
And I
dear.
was like, look, I will audition for this one thing that my aunt had pointed out, the AMTC audition. She's like, if you really, wanted to do it, prove it. Audition for this. So I told God, I was like, all right, I will audition for acting and singing. But if I don't get a call back, I'm done. I'm not doing it. I'm not doing anything else. Done. And so I went and I auditioned for both, and I got a call back for both, which was shocking to me because like I said, I didn't think I could do it. So that like completely and totally opened up my entire experience and my outlook on life and what was possible. But that audition was pretty crazy. Like, I think it was something, there were 4 days of auditions. And on my day, there were easily 300 people there. And every day it was the same. And just in Detroit. And then they had like different cities all over the country.
Yeah.
Auditioning people.
One of our friends did it with you, right?
Not in the one that, well, actually, yeah, Michael did. Yeah. But he wasn't from my state. I think he's from Florida. But yeah, a lot of the people from NYCDA did go through AMGC. It's just in different years and competitions. But yeah, so, yeah, there was easily like 1,000 people from, Detroit alone. And of those 1,000 people, I was one of 10 called back that year. And I was like, what? So that really opened my eyes. But it was really cool. There was a lady there from, I think she was Miss America. Austin Williams.
Hmm.
And she gave this amazing speech that I still remember. And it was about using your gifts and how it's so important and like how you can touch people with that and not only bring them closer to God, but just help them in their lives, make the world a better place, basically. But she worded it much better than I did. And I really loved that speech. Um, so we listened to a few people talk. We did the auditions privately, one-on-one. And I remember that one, like you were saying, it was an all-day event. So long, just like waiting around, waiting for your number to be called, and then you go in and then it's just another waiting room, basically.
5 waiting rooms before you're seen, literally.
Yeah. And so then you audition for the one-on-one, and then when you actually get the call back, you get put through all of these different uh, classes, but also just like tests to see what all you can do in case that you missed anything when you said you just wanted to audition for like acting or music or whatnot. Um, they'll like try you out at different things, modeling, dancing, commercials, like all of this stuff. And so I got put through all of these things that I had never done before. Doing like a model like catwalk thing. I was like, but it's very informative. I really enjoyed it. Um, yeah, so you did that and then you got sat down and you basically were like if you made it through, you got the opportunity to sign a contract and receive training through AMTC, which I did. And it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, that sounds a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Auditions, they're crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Nah, all auditions are crazy. Let's be real. Even like doing a self tape is crazy. You don't know how many times. Because so self tapes, guys, it's harder because when you send a self tape, they expect it to be perfection. Because guess
Mm-hmm.
what? You've had time to re-record it.
Yeah.
So if there's a mistake that they don't like, they're like, "Wow, it's not you."
Yeah.
Because they're like, "Wow, you could have fixed that and you didn't." So next.
You know, well, through AMTC, I worked with a lady, her name was Marilyn, I believe. And she coached, I think it was commercials. And we were encouraged to write our own monologue for that. And initially I was like, well, don't you want to do something that's well known so that, they can compare performance? No, no, you don't. And if you can write a good monologue, that's actually preferable because it catches their attention. It's something new and they don't have anything to like compare you to. So you're not like some newbie being put up against like Meryl Streep, you know? And so it really works in your favor. I did a monologue in her class about swimming. I just wrote a random monologue about swimming and how great it is.
She's a fish, guys.
Yeah, but she actually like was saying how I was actually a really good writer and I should keep that and do that like for actual auditions. And that's actually how I got the scholarship. Um, because I did do that in the competitions, as well as I did it in the room for the people from NYCDA. So, a little tip.
Pretty cool. Pretty cool tip.
Mm-hmm.
All right. The second half of this is a really impactful class memory.
There's so many.
Okay, I give a good and bad one. I have a bad one first. Because he didn't say it has to be happily impactful. No. Here's what injured my self-worth for a little bit.
Oh no.
So, in one of my teacher's classes, I'm going to say his name because he was lovely, Stephen McAmey. Hey, Stephen. You're probably not listening, but I love you. Hope you're doing well. He's the sweetest man. And we had to do scenes and songs. So I'm not going to say names of my classmates because they know who they are. Okay. Anyway, they're low. And so what happened was this person, they were assigned Take Me or Leave Me from Rent. And I love that song. Maureen can sing in my ears all day long. Yes, every single day. Oh, yeah. Okay, love that song. Well, I was like, ooh, what a great song to assign for this scene selection class. I can't wait to see this person do it, right? So the one day I was walking in the hallway and the song came on in my headphones. And I was like, oh, it's my jam. And I started singing it. Because guess what? I'm listening to a musical theater soundtrack. Are you crazy? I'm not going to sing it. Yeah, I'm going to sing it. I don't care. It's in the school building. We were all at lunch. No one was in class. It was fine. So I was singing it. And the person that had the song, they popped into the classroom where they were eating lunch with everybody in my class except me because I was not invited. Because they had a group chat that I was not allowed in. Don't think I don't know people. I know. I know everything. And this person said some explicitive things and said, I cannot believe that this stole my song. I cannot believe she's stealing my song right now. And then they wrote about me in the group chat. And they said mean things about me in the group chat. And I'm fully aware. And I don't talk to them anymore. But there was this one person in the class, and I will say this person's name because this person is an angel, Josiah. And Josiah was a sweet, sweet boy. And in that same class with Stephen, we had to do this activity where we sat with knees between each other. This is my happy, impactful moment, by the way. Because I said I had to. But I figured I'd keep it in the same class. Josiah and I sat with our knees between each other, and you're supposed to look into each other's eyes, and you're supposed to find something happy, something sad, something funny, you know. So Stephen was like, find something happy. So Josiah and I are looking at each other. We're just like, and I'm just like, he's so adorable. I love you, right? And I was like, this is the cutest dude I've ever seen in my life. Like, he was just so nice. He was just adorable. Love him. So, you know, obviously you look at him and you're finding many happy things because he's just a lovely, lovely person. So then Stephen goes find something sad. And Josiah's looking at me. And I'm trying to find something sad in Josiah's eyes. I'm struggling a little bit because, like I said, happy camper. Okay? He's looking in my eyes and he starts crying.
So.
And I started crying. And I was like, oh, poop. Oh, no. So now we're crying at each other.
Yeah.
So then I was like, that's interesting. And so Josiah and I had a talk. And I remember, because we wanted to discuss this activity, scene partners. And he and I talked, and he was like, there's a lot of sadness in your eyes. And I was like, yeah. Mm-hmm. And he goes, yeah, there's a lot. It's not fair. I'm sorry. And I think he knew, obviously, because he was a part of the group chat, too. Because everyone loved it. So he was allowed to be a part of it. So he knew. And he knew not to say much because he didn't want the drama, and I don't blame him. I don't want the drama either. But he knew, and he was sorry. And it was the only sorry that I've ever received in all of these years. And that makes me emotional. That makes me emotional. I hope he's doing so well. But getting a sorry from someone that wasn't even doing anything is sad. But it still meant a whole awful lot. Because even the person who claimed to be my friend in that class wasn't really my friend. And they just wanted to tell me what was happening in the group chat because they liked the drama. And that's okay. At least I found out what was happening in the group chat. And they just talk bad about me all the time in it. So it was nothing new. But the being himself just being like, I'm so sorry, was just so endearing. And he was one of my favorite people to work with at school. And this boy can sing. He's a good singer. So I was like, yes, sing it. And we harmonized good. And I still have a video of our performance, which, by the way, people also wrote in the group chat that they just watched him the whole time and not me and pretended I wasn't there. Beside the point, I thought we did great. So my second year of college sucked. It really did. But it's okay.
Wow. I'm sorry, that's a lot.
Impactful.
Yeah. It is impactful, that's for sure.
I answered the question.
Mm-hmm. Wow. Those people. It makes you wonder what's going through their head to, like, have to resort to that kind of thing. You know what I mean? It's just, yeah. Wow. Okay, impactful.
Mm-hmm.
So, I guess we'll do a positive and a negative, just like you.
Mm-hmm.
I had a lot of positive moments. I honestly can say that my time in New York was a huge highlight in my life, where I got to do what I loved every single day. And I was surrounded, especially in my first year, my class, I loved everyone in my class. We were like a little family, and I just loved each and every one of them to pieces. Still do. I'm friends with all of them on Facebook, and I guess Instagram, but not active on there. Sorry. But they just made everything so fun and just such a joy to like go in and work every day. You know what I mean? And I think I cherish those friendships so much because when like after school when my mom passed, they got together and sent me a little section 1 bouquet or not bouquet of flowers from section 1, and I was like, oh my gosh, because at that point it had been over a year since I had seen any of them, and the fact that they still like showed up like that, it just meant the world. And I love them all so much. Like, to the ends of the earth, I will support each and every one of them no matter what. But yeah, I think that having them day in and day out was probably the most positive impact on my time there. But if we're talking about classroom situations, I think, oh gosh, there's too many. There's so many with Nurkin, and there's so many with Abigail and Steve and the teachers there as well.
Steve.
You know.
Oh,
Steve-o. I think there was one in Abigail's class for Intro to Film, where we were doing, it was some type of monologue, but it was where I was with Alexa Ray, and we were supposed to talk about something that was very personal to us. And I opened up about something that was going on in my life throughout my childhood, and I talked about it very candidly on camera, and both of us were like just sobbing at the end of it. And Abigail she said, if I can learn to be that like genuine and like confident in myself, then I could be one of the best actors of my generation. And that stuck with me because I never really believed in myself. Like I talked about it earlier, where I I just never thought it was possible, you know?
Yeah.
And so I always, when I tried to act, I did come at it from a real place, but like I only let it go so far. You know what I mean? Because I was scared of some emotions that I had bottled up for years. Like I had such a hard time getting angry, you know? And so to break down like that on camera and then have the teacher say, you know, that's what you need to do. It was like a revelation for me. I was like, no, I am hindering myself by putting that like barrier, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So, and it was also confidence building to see that she saw something in me that I hadn't seen. So, yeah, I think that was probably the positives besides the people around me. Yeah. And then negatives, I all the negative stuff that happened to me was in my dorm room the first year.
Hence, the name for me and her phone.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's the one. Her and another one that I don't want to call them out because
No.
I do think that they are genuinely good people. It's just they had a lot of growing to do. And in my situation, uh, like I did genuinely feel for them. I did want to help them in whatever way I could, but they just put my life through it when I lived with them.
They did.
And so that was the most negative
But
parts of
I
me
also
for me.
agree. I agree with you. I don't think the people that you were dealing with genuinely meant to be bad like that. You know? I think there was just growing to do in their case.
It was growing, and
Yeah.
it was like, it was that they were brought up that way. And I think that's how it is with everyone, honestly. I think we all are genuinely like not trying to hurt anyone necessarily. It's just that we experience things and we take those traumas out on other people. Like the people that
Yeah.
like hurt you, I guarantee you something happened to them.
Oh,
You know what I
probably.
mean? And it sucks because then like hurting people hurt people, you know? And
Mm-hmm. And it sucks when they just pick one person.
yeah. Yeah.
Like, I couldn't do it to, like, a couple people in the class, so I had some friends.
Yeah, it was
That would
wrong.
have been nice.
Yeah.
But instead, I was just outcasted.
Mm-hmm.
And they'd still invite me out and, like, fake it. So I'd go to lunch with them and fake like I didn't know. Or didn't know. Um, didn't know. You look, they mess up my brain when I think about it. But yeah, I pretended like I didn't know. You can't tell me I'm not a good actress because they fell for it.
Mm-hmm.
But I knew from the beginning of the year.
Yeah. Yeah.
It got to a point, and I told I won't tell which director I told, but I told the director at the school what was happening because I would go home and cry. And I told this director what was happening. And you can't say that these people didn't have faith in me. She goes, yeah, I know what they're like. The reason I moved you from the last section is because I knew you could handle it. And there were people in the other section who couldn't. So I was moved because I was tough and I could handle the bullying because they knew the bullying was happening. They were fully aware of it.
Yeah.
And it was something they just couldn't stop. And so they were like, well, we'll just pick the strongest person to throw in there.
Yeah.
And it was me.
Yeah.
By the way, I'm not mad at that director for that or the school for that. That wasn't their fault. Like,
Yeah.
they knew that there was nothing they could do about it, and I don't blame them because there's nothing you can do except expel a student, and you don't really want to have to do that. I would rather that student that I'm talking about get their full, thing they paid for. I wanted this person to continue school, and I'm glad they did, and I'm glad they got their degree.
It's easy.
I don't like how they went about getting their degree, but I'm glad they got it, and so I wouldn't change how it happened.
Yeah. It was
You
fair.
know, but it was still hard.
Yeah. It's fair.
But I'm a very tough cookie now.
You're a tough cookie. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, that concludes our topic for the day.
Hmm.
So, crazy topic. A good one, Roger. I liked it.
Mm-hmm. If you have another suggestion, let us know.
I'm putting it in there.
Because clearly you're good at it.
Yes, because this is a good one. We were supposed to only be 30 minutes today because we were like, we're tired, and now it's an hour later. So,
yeah. Also, Roger is one of the ones from my class the first year. I love him.
he was the RA at our school, and I met him when I did the summer program, and we became friends then, and then we were friends throughout my whole school experience, and he lived across the hall from us, actually, which is really fun. Yeah. Roger. Hope you're doing well.
Roger was seriously one of the sweetest guys ever.
Because I love that man.
One of the moments that really sticks out to me about him is I went to one of my friend Jasmine's birthday, and it was at like a club, and it was a very strange night, and I ended up getting followed home, stalked. And it's a long story, but that guy found me on social media. He found my address. He found what school I went to, all of this different stuff, along with he had my number. And so he was like stalking me, and I was freaking out. And Roger walked me home the next day, and I was so thankful for him because I was so anxious. So
yeah,
I will always be grateful to Roger.
Yeah, he's very sweet. Roger loved mac and cheese, and I remember, I think you remember this too, I made him mac and cheese and he ate it out of the pot. And I just remember that experience because it's very Roger of him. Roger and I had split custody of a TV, but it just lived in his house because from the summer program, one of our friends, Carrie, had left it. And so we ended up getting to keep it. And he was like, I'm taking it. Roger, you owe me a TV. I remember. No, for real though, I love you, Roger, and thank you so much for listening to our podcast and putting in the Q&A because you're great and we miss you. And I'll make you mac and cheese next time I see you.
Baby, as much TV as you.
True.
Okay, but seriously, if anyone, even besides Roger, have any kind of prompts or ideas for a game or whatnot, please let us know because we love hearing from you guys, and we definitely would love to turn that into an episode.
We would. I like having the Q&A.
Yes.
Yeah, it's cool. Also, I just noticed there's someone in audience right now in the podcast app, apparently. On my little side view here, we have all of our editing tools and stuff. As we record, it shows. So it shows there's 2 people here in the Riverside, what we record on. And there is a little, like, Spotify logo for podcast, and it says 1 in audience. So someone is listening. So,
well, that's
hey, person listening.
Yeah, thanks.
This isn't live, though. It's uploading, but they must be watching, like, the Meisner episode or something. We didn't get many views on that one because that was kind of like a silent upload. But once this one's uploaded, I'm sure that people will realize that the other one was uploaded and then watch that one as well. So we'll get...
Was the Meisner one the last one we uploaded?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I didn't even watch that myself. Sorry. And I definitely, since I didn't watch it, I didn't send it to anybody.
Can I say a secret? I haven't watched any of our episodes except the first one. No, the last one was Infatuation versus Love. I'm sorry. That one, the last one was the other person's Q&A, but I also did not watch that one either.
I think I watched 2. I don't remember.
I did the first one. You know why I don't watch them, guys, though? I watch them when I edit them.
Yeah.
I watch them when I edit them, but like, also I don't edit them fully because you guys know I try to keep it as authentic as possible.
Yeah.
So if there's like big gaps and stuff between talking, it's just because someone was rambling, and it was probably me, so I take it out.
It's fair.
No, the last episode, it got short. Why? Because I stopped myself from talking a lot.
I mean,
if anything, I'm self-aware.
We love that. I mean, I wish you'd stop me from talking to you sometimes. I think you do. Honestly, every now and again.
A little, but I stop you less.
Well, I don't know if that's a good thing or not, but thanks.
You say good things. I ramble,
okay.
So I go, and I get rid of me.
I feel like I say a lot of ums and likes and whatnot. If I was editing, I'd edit those out. But
well, it's hard to edit those out though, because then the audio chops weird.
Yeah, and like you said, keeping it real and all that. So
as real as possible. Sometimes I cut out like 5 stories that I said, but that's okay. Like this one will have a couple stories of me cut out, and that's okay. I'm aware. But you know what? We have content. I give us the content, and then I just decide what stays in and what's not needed. But it's there.
You go.
I give us option.
Yeah. I need to get back to filming and editing YouTube videos. I was doing really good and then fell off the wagon right away.
Yeah, I didn't specify at the beginning of this video, and if anyone made it this far, you'll know, like, the week before I, like, fainted, one of my best friends, Tony, died. Yeah, he was 27, died of a heart attack. So that was a reason that we did not film that week, because I wasn't ready mentally to film that week. His funeral was on Friday. And I could not go because I had the health scare. But I watched it live stream. So.
How did it go?
It was good. His dad talked. I didn't get to see if his mom talked or the pastor talked a lot. I missed like the first 30 minutes because I couldn't figure out where they were live streaming it. I got lost. But I found it. So. But okay, I gave it a pause. Now I can say what I need to say in case I need to cut this out. The pastor started doing this thing where he talked about himself a lot. Oh, hello, Chloe Booty.
She's on the mic. Oh, great. No. You can't rub against that.
Hi, Chloe.
Chloe.
She's so pretty. But the pastor did this thing, which the funeral was 3 hours long. And the reason was because the pastor did the thing where he talked about his journey into being a pastor. And now, when I don't have a problem with that in a church service, of course. I like to know about that stuff. It's cool. But for my friend's funeral, I'd rather you just keep it about my friend. I don't know if I have to cut that out, but that's why I gave it a pause, just in case. I can always get rid of the pause, but yeah, it kind of bothers me a little bit because it's like, man, I was here for Tony. I was here to listen about. I wanted you to talk about Tony and who he was, and so we got a little bit of that, but it was only like 30 minutes of that, and then the rest was just the pastor going on, and then it turned into a church service, and I was like, that's cool, sure, but like I didn't. We're here for the funeral. We're not. Don't get me wrong. I love a good church service. Okay.
This is not the place.
That was the wrong time for a church service, and it was the wrong time to try and convince people that they need to come to God. Because they were like, you have to believe in Jesus, and I was like, yes, you do, but this is a funeral, so There are people there that probably weren't Christian. I heard that, Chloe. But there are people there that probably weren't Christian, I'm sure. And then the pastor is now in their face going, you have to be a Christian or else terrible things are going to happen. But this is a funeral. This is not... This is just... It was the funeral. So, yeah. And I'm not going to lie to you. This part I will edit out. I turned it off at that point.
Yeah.
And I was happy I was home. Because I started at 9 o'clock. And so I went. And I was a good person. I went back in and I checked over and over to see where they were. But it was talking about the pastors and his wife for a long time. And I was like...
That's frustrating.
It was. And people didn't get back here until 2:30 in the morning. Are you kidding? Because it was 2 hours away. So I was like... Okay.
Thing.
Yeah.
It sucks.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm glad that overall it went well, though.
Me too. Overall, the funeral went well. And I'm kind of happy I didn't have to look in the casket because apparently it did not look like him. So I'm happy I didn't look because they didn't show that on live stream. Thank you, live stream. Or I missed it. But it's saved, so I could always go back and try and see if it was there. I might do that afterwards, actually. It might be interesting. Because I want to see. I'll tell you if it is. But
I always have a hard time looking at the casket because, I don't know, it's creepy to me.
It's not them. Yeah, it's weird.
Yeah.
I'd
rather have the image of them, like, as I remember them, instead of having that image in my head. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Well, now that this episode got dark, it's the end of it. So, yeah. That's how it's good. We don't have time for a game today because we're way over time. But, yeah, Q&A. It's at the end. And we'll see you next episode.
Yep. Yeah. Thanks for watching.
Yeah, thank you. Bye, guys.
Bye.